promising you a demo of Microsoft's Xbox, and you don't have to wait any longer. GameSpot TV's Adam Sessler just got his hands on it. Adam, what can you tell us?
Well, first and foremost, the Xbox does exist. I've seen it. It's a very attractive-looking console. Now, while we didn't actually play games on the Xbox because it isn't finished yet, we did get to see games being played on what's called the development kit, which they're saying is running about a fifth the power of the Xbox. But first, the Xbox is a really interesting-looking machine. They didn't want to make it look like sort of the stereo system of the PS2, and they didn't want it to have the fanciful qualities that you see in the Dreamcast and on the N64. So what you have is a big black box with an X on it, which is appropriate seeing how is the Xbox. Yes, but more importantly is the controller, because controllers are how you actually interact with the machine. And they seem to finally realize that people have different sized hands. And many people can tell you stories of how they cramp up when trying to use one of the controllers for another system. Well, this one seems to work for different sized hands. It feels very good when I was holding it, and it was very easy to reach all the buttons and controllers, of which there are many, many buttons and controllers. So that gives a lot of the developers all these other options in how they design a game.
All right, so there's an ergonomic design that you're talking about here.
Yes, very nice and ergonomic.
What features really stand out about the Xbox?
Well, what really stands out is just the look of the games. These are stunning-looking games. What's most important is they're using a feature called full scene anti-aliasing. Aliasing is what happens, and you've probably seen this on one of your PlayStation games, where you see sort of a jagged busyness between the background and the characters that are in the foreground. That's called aliasing. It can't render all these frames of animation just perfectly. Well, that is achievable on other new generation systems like the PlayStation 2, but in the Xbox, there's something actually in the hardware that gives you perfect textures and perfect contours around all the edges, as you can probably see in some of these clips. It looks very close to like what you see in movies like Toy Story, but what's so impressive is in Toy Story, that's all been pre-rendered. It's been done ahead of time. What you're seeing here is being done on the fly by the machine. It's animating itself at this high level. They're absolutely stunning and beautiful.
Do you think that is going to wow gamers? Is this Xbox really going to take them over?
Well, I'm already wowed right now, so I'm hoping that other gamers would be too. It's just going to look impressive, especially right now, considering that it's still pretty hard to get yourself a PlayStation 2. And I think when a lot of gamers see these images, they might be really torn about which of the two top systems that they're going to be wanting to purchase.
Is there anything that you think Microsoft could have done differently with the Xbox?
Well, seeing as how they aren't finished yet, it's not yet. It's probably not the best time to start judging. Though I think what will be most challenging for Microsoft, and probably is the only thing that stands in their way to success, is trying to convince all the consumers out there that this is not a PC. This is a console just like your Nintendo console, just like your Sega console, and just like your Sony console. But unfortunately, the name Microsoft has always been so associated with PCs that people might think it's just a set-top box to surf the web.
Well, what about extra features? I understand that you can also play DVD movies.
Yes, but this is what's interesting. As opposed to the PlayStation 2, where you can play DVD movies right out of the box, they've decided that you have to purchase a separate device with just a remote control to actually play the DVD movies. You might think this is just a money-making scheme on their part, but it is a very interesting strategy. They are trying to drive home the point to both developers and consumers that this is designed for games. This is not supposed to be something that also involves DVDs. What has happened with the PlayStation 2 is that people who bought the PS2 thought, oh, I'll get a DVD. But when they bought that DVD, that was money that they could have been spending on games. And games is where these companies actually make their profit. They lose money when they sell the consoles.
So were you exposed to any games?
Yes. Oh, I saw some beautiful games. The most impressive of which was Munch's Odyssey. It just looks stunning. You play this funny little creature who's in a wheelchair and another character named Abe, and you go around a very strange environment. But what was really neat, what they said, is that this game will have no load times in it whatsoever. Anyone who's played games knows sometimes you have to wait for 2 to 3 minutes to get to the next phase of the game. Because it has a hard drive in the machine, it's constantly streaming information. So from the moment you start, you can play all the way through without ever stopping to wait for something else to happen.
So everybody wants to know, what about pricing?
Right.
What can we expect? It's not out for a while.
They haven't announced either the price nor when it's coming out.
Right.
But you can imagine that it will be very, very comparable to what you see with the PS2, which is $300. Although there's so much money in the coffers of Microsoft, they could do something very strategic and drop the price below the PS2, even though it's a more expensive machine in terms of what hardware is in it, and that could be very interesting.
Do you think there'll be the same response as the PS2 got?
It could be. That's, I think, what people are waiting for. I think they're going to get a big marketing machine going, and there could be quite a bit of excitement come the fall.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
My pleasure.